Hi guys, welcome back. So Scotland versus Wales. Let's go through the home side first of Scotland. And I think they would have been unchanged apart from 3 injuries, which is really unfortunate. Ritchie's a big loss. He was fantastic last week. Redpath showed some real promise and Maitland had a good game. Although Maitland's loss has been filled, I think, by Darcy Graham very well, who I'd have had starting before anyway. But certainly a shame we don't see Redpath have another go. But anyway, I think Wales actually have a longer list of injuries, which we'll go through in a bit. But going through the Scottish team, Hogg's obviously at fullback, still captaining at fullback. Graham comes in, so I think that's okay. That covers for Maitland. Lang is the guy who comes in at 12 to try and do a similar sort of role to Redpath. I do see them as quite similar players, guys that can be ball players and ball carriers and kickers as well. Bit of an all-rounder. But we'll see, but a chance for James Lang. Now we get to see Van der Merwe again. Russell and Price, they were okay last week. Some good stuff, some bad stuff. So they'll want to be slightly better considering the rest of their side played so well. Front row as is. George Turner coming off the back of a good game. And, you know, Hooker is wide open for the Lions tour. Assuming it happens, let's assume it happens. If he has another good game, he could be in there as a Lions bolter. So that's interesting to have a look at. Cummings and Gray coming off the backs of good games last week. And a real shame, like I said, Ritchie out. Blade Thompson is in. And he's been great for the Scarlets. He's had some really big performances for them, but he hasn't translated it into a Scotland shirt yet. He's had a few goes. He needs to really crack it this week, I think. He needs a big performance. A little unlucky not to see Gary Graham potentially. Watson's in there, who was epic last week. Fagerson as well was the best I've ever seen him play for Scotland. Can he back that up with another game? That would be impressive. And substitutes pretty much as is there. I think, in fact, it's exactly the same as last week. And unlucky for some of these guys not to get starts. Like Hugh Jones could have come into the back 3. Gary Graham could have come into the back row. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think of that Scotland team. I thought they were favourites before those injuries. I think they're still favourites now, being at home, and the fact that Wales have more injuries. But let me know what you think of that team. On to the Welsh team. 1 game in, they got their win. It wasn't the greatest performance, but they got their win. But even more injuries now. It's not looking good. A real blow for them, with Navidi and McLeod now out as well. At least they get Liam Williams back, but they've still got Lydiate out, Navidi and McLeod, like I said, Thomas Williams, Johnny Williams, George North, who played so well last week, Jonathan Davis isn't available, Hallam Amos, Josh Adams, the list goes on. It's pretty bad. But anyway, they have managed to plug the gaps. It's still a decent team, so let's have a look at it. Same front row who did all right last week. Ken Owens, like I said, good to see him back, looking fresh. Adam Beard, I'd put question marks over. Some of you guys defended him, some agreed with me, so I'm watching him closely. I think people say that he does some of the unsung work in the maul, etc., so I'll look closely at that. Alan Wynne-Jones did very well last week. Now, in at 6, we've got Wainwright replacing Lydiate, and then also replacing Navidi and maybe even McLeod. So Wainwright gets his chance at 6. Tipperick and Faletau stay in, who did well last week. Now, the unlucky Thomas Williams is out. It's Gareth Davis benefit. So let's see if he can prove some doubters wrong. He is prone to an error, but let's see if he can have a good game. Bigger, like we mentioned. Now, in the centres, they've had to change it up completely with Tompkins at 12 and Watkin at 13. Tompkins at 12 is interesting. He does play there. He has played there for Saracens very well, but he was kind of looking like he was going to be a 13 for Wales, but they've gone for him at 12, Watkin at 13. I'd say get that ball into Tompkins' hands a bit quicker. He can make things happen. He can create 2-on-1s, half breaks. He's a tricky customer. There was a comment in one of the videos that said Louis Rees-Zammit had actually broken his leg or his ankle or something, but that doesn't seem to be the case. That worried me even more. But he stays in, which means you can have him and Williams on the wings, Halfpenny at full back, so that's a really good back 3. But certainly some disruption. Same front row replacements. James Botham comes in to cover the back row. Hardy is on the bench to cover, comes in to cover 9. Sheedy stays, and then Halaholo comes in, the uncapped Halaholo. Many people want him to play for Wales and have done for a long time now, so it looks like he'll finally get his cap if he gets on. But age 30, it's probably a bit late to be kind of a long stay in the team. But anyway, really good player, great step on him, very dangerous. Many people will like his inclusion for sure. But I do think Scotland are the favourites, especially with all these injuries from Wales and considering they didn't have the greatest performance last week, even though they lost. So it's going to be interesting. So Scottish fans, Welsh fans, let me know what you think of those teams and who you think's going to win, and I will catch you next time.